Hello and welcome to this third trimester stick mobility flow. My name is Morgan. I'm a master instructor with stick mobility and I am pre and postnatal certified through multiple organizations. The third trimester is when we switch the focus from building strength, like in the second trimester, to preparing for childbirth. So in this flow today, we are going to be doing a little bit more gentle stretching. We are going to be focusing on breathing and mitigating some of those aches and pains you may be feeling and that uncomfortableness that I know comes along with being in the third trimester. Some of these movements are also going to be very similar to laboring and birthing movements. So we'll be using just our 2 sticks today, and we're going to start on the floor in a tall kneeling monkey hang. You can of course do this in a standing position if being on your knees is painful. So this is a really great movement to help open the upper back and the chest, stretch out the shoulders. We're going to release some tension in the spine, and we're going to work on our breathing in this position. So we'll be in a tall kneeling position, and the sticks are going to go at 3 and 9 o'clock, just a few inches outside of those knees or feet if you're standing. You're going to reach up with a rope grip, and you're going to have some slack in the elbows. So you're going to drive those sticks into the floor and then sink those hips down and back into a monkey hang. We're going to extend the arms, allow those shoulders to fall up to the ears. We want to find a nice deep stretch here, really just sinking those hips towards the heels. They may even reach the heels, and that's perfectly fine. Let's take 3 breaths here. So expand the tummy as you inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to squeeze front, back, and sides. Let's do 2 more just like that. Inhale. And exhale. Let's go. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Bring those hips back underneath you. Reset your grip if you need. I'll show you from this angle. And let's sink those hips down and back again into your hang. The idea is that you're giving some of your body weight to your upper body so that the spine can hang nice and heavy and those hips can hang down low as well. You want that torso leaning forward just slightly so that we also get some work in the belly as we're breathing. So inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. And we'll slowly come on out of that. That is a popular laboring position as well. And you can also use that as a resting position in between some of the movements that we do today or some of your workouts on your own. So let's go into some single leg hip hinging. So we'll start on 2 feet. This is also another laboring position. We're going to go a little wider than hip width, about shoulder width with those feet. Sticks are going to be at 11 and 1 o'clock. You're going to hold them at chest height. And once again, we're going to stretch the shoulders in the upper back and the lats as you bring the chest forward, sink those hips back, and just try to drop that chest through the arms, opening up the rib cage and the backs of the shoulders. You can shift forward and back here, just letting that belly hang towards the floor. And each time you exhale, try to pick that belly up away from the floor, engaging those abdominals. We're going to do 2 more breaths here. You can also shift side to side. Then 1 more breath. You can also bend and extend the knees. And slowly come on up. We're going to do that 4 more times, but you can progress this movement into a split stance for this next rep. So we'll go a little wider than a traditional split stance for room for the tummy. Again, sticks at 11 and 1 o'clock. You can, of course, stick with the last progression if that feels really good. Drive those sticks into the floor as you sink those hips down and back. Same thing here. We're going to take 3 nice deep breaths. You can, of course, twist those hips in this position. Just let that chest fall through, right? You could shift forward and back. And let's take 1 more breath. Slowly come on up. And we could switch sides if that progression feels good. You can, of course, go back to the last progression if that's appropriate as well. Drive those sticks into the floor. Go ahead and sink those hips back as the chest falls towards the floor. You can bend and extend the knees here, really getting a stretch through the hamstrings. Just letting that chest fall through the arms. One more breath, nice and deep. Again, as you exhale, focus on picking that tummy up away from the floor to engage the abdominals. Slowly bring those hips underneath you. So we can progress this a little bit further into a single leg deadlift if that feels really good, if the split stance feels really good, if you're not having any sacroiliac pain back here on either side of the hip or any tailbone pain. And we're gonna reach the left leg up and back into single leg deadlift, or you can keep the split stance deadlift, or you can keep the bilateral 2 feet on the floor. Again, just kind of stretching and breathing into this position. If you're on one leg or split stance, you could even open one hip and close it. And then let's slowly come out of that position and we'll switch sides. Right, so now we can lift that right leg up. Always make sure that you are stable on one leg before you go into that hip hinge. Take a few deep breaths. Just bringing some tension and strength into the posterior chain, that back side of the body, and slowly come on up. All right, so let's bring some tension into the hips and the anterior chain of the body, the front of the body. So this one may feel a little like a strength exercise. We're really just prepping the tissues for a deep squat to come. So we'll start in a tall standing position. Sticks are going to be at 10 and 2 o'clock. So they're going to be a little bit wider than the shoulders. And you want the bottoms of those sticks angled towards you. We're holding them at about chest height. We're going to drive down at about 30% tension. You're going to lift the right leg up in front, very low, just to balance on that left leg. And then you're going to open the right leg to the right stick. You can also do this seated if balancing is really, really difficult or painful. Go ahead and do the same exact movement in a chair. You're going to push into the stick with the right foot as you slide up the stick. You want that knee to stay on top of the toe, right? We want to make space for that tummy. I know it gets in the way of everything. And slowly slide back down. And again, exhale, slide that leg up. We're not really working for too much height here, just some tension in the front of the hip and those glutes as well, especially that supporting side. Slide it back down. And let's go one more time, sliding that leg up. And sliding it back down. Very slowly come out of that position. And then we're going to switch sides. So once again, make sure you are balanced on the right leg with that left leg in front. Then open, pushing back into that stick with that left foot. Let's slide up. And slide back down. And again, sliding up, keep pushing back into that stick. That's going to get those glutes activated and allow for a little more knee drive up and slowly come back down, which will give a little more tension to the front and top of those hips. One more time, pushing into that stick as you slide it up. Slide it back down, bring that leg back in front. Release some of that tension. We're going to do this one more time on each side, but this time you're going to bring your leg behind the stick and push forward. So now we're also going to get some adductor strength. So pushing forward on that right stick, you're going to slide the right leg up, pushing in, hold, not too much tension, just enough to feel the inner thighs working. And let's go 2 more times. Pushing down into the floor, sliding that leg up. And slowly coming back down. And let's do that one more time. Hold at the top and slowly release all the way back to 2 feet. Take a deep breath. We're going to do that one more time on the left side. Lift that left leg up. Make sure you're balanced on that right leg before you open the leg and bring it behind the stick. We're pushing forward on that stick as you slide the leg up. Hold just for 1 or 2 counts at the top and slide it back down. And again, slide that leg up. Hold and slide it back down. Keep breathing. One more time. Hold at the top and slowly release all the way to the ground. Beautiful job. We're going to do 2 deep squats. We're going to stay there for a little while. So if you need to regress, you can of course grab a step stool, a yoga block, or 2 to squat 2. And if not, if you feel really comfortable in your deep squat, we're going to get right to it. This is another laboring and even pushing position. So we want to make sure that deep squat is nice and comfortable for you. So we're going to go with a wider stance, about shoulder width, toes out just slightly. Once again, we got to make room for the hips and the tummy. Drive those sticks into the wall where the floor meets the wall, right? So right at that baseboard, we're driving back, and you can give some of your weight to those sticks. So that's going to bring some stability and a little bit of leverage to get you a little deeper into that squat. So keep pushing back and lower those hips down. Now your spine doesn't need to be perfectly extended here. We're just gonna hang out so you can shift side to side if that feels good. Once again, if this is too much, then of course bring a yoga block or 2 or a step stool underneath those hips so you're sitting in that squat position. We're gonna take a few more deep breaths here. Now I also like to push my knees out into those sticks just for a little more tension in the hips. That's going to enable the pelvic floor to get a little more active as well. So let's take a few deep breaths here. You can, of course, also round the spine just slightly. You can arch the spine, looking up towards the ceiling, opening the chest. Let's take one more deep breath. Now you can bring those hips underneath you and stand straight up, or you can reach those hips back and then bring the hips underneath you to come on up. Whew. Take a deep breath. If you're feeling a little bit dizzy, go ahead and take a seat. And then we're going to try that one more time. So I'll show you from this angle, pushing those sticks back into the wall. Find that tension driving down. Feet are a little wider than usual. We're going to sink those hips down into that deep squat. We're just going to kind of hang out here, shifting side to side. You can twist those feet and hips. We can round the spine and arch the spine. You can lift the hips a little bit and sink the hips back down. Shift forward and back. Just breathing and being in this deep squat position. One more breath here. And then slowly bring your hips underneath you or reach the hips back, push into the wall to come on up. We're going to take one more deep stretch. So we're going to put one of the long sticks away. The other long stick is going to go behind your low back. You're going to grab it with straight arms so the palms face forward. We're going to get into a wide stance. So wider than shoulder width, wider than our squat position we just worked in, right? We're kind of going to stretch out those adductors, those inner thighs a little bit. We're going to rotate the spine. So we'll get into a hip hinge position. So you're going to soften the knees and reach those hips up and back, keeping that spine nice and extended. And then we're slowly going to reach the right side of the stick towards the ground. Now, we're not going for a major twist here, right? By this point, this is going to be just enough rotation. That's all you need. We're driving that stick into the floor at 30% tension, pulling up on that stick with the left hand, and we're just breathing in this rotation. Open that chest, and then you can rotate and look up with that neck and head to the left, and then rotate that neck and head back down. Look up again, rotating that neck. Keep breathing. Look back down. You can add a shift of weight to that as well. You can bend the right knee, straighten the left as you look up. And you can bend the left knee. That's just going to give you a little more stretch in the inner thighs. So if this is it, if you're not shifting your weight, then that's exactly where we're going to hang out for now. And then we're slowly going to reverse that, coming back center and bring the hips underneath you. So now we're going to switch sides. Okay, we've still got that wide stance. We're going to reach those hips up and back, softening those knees. Then we're going to rotate that left side of the stick to the floor. We're not aiming for a max rotation. Hold that position. Every time you exhale, try to pull that tummy up away from the floor. That's just going to engage the transverse abdominals and help support the structure of your spine in this last trimester when a lot of physiological changes are happening. We can add rotation of the neck, looking up towards the ceiling, back down, and again back up. We could shift side to side. As you shift to the left, look up to the ceiling. As you shift to the right, look towards the floor. Your choice here. Just keep those nice deep breaths. And then you're slowly going to come back center. Bring those hips underneath you. Take one more deep breath. And release. Awesome job. Nice work. I hope you enjoyed and feel much more open in the spine and the chest, and I will see you next time.